Hi everyone, time for an unexpected live. I promise I'd do it, and I've just been busy, chilling, just enjoying the summer holidays, but I promised that I would do a future Harrington project. Boom, future projects. So yeah, I wanted to come on and just talk about some of the new stuff that I'm getting up to, behind the scenes, stuff that you might not know I'm doing, and just a little bit about my process. So just for any new people, my name's Mark and I'm the face behind Harrington Projects. I am full-time S&D teacher and now a writer on the side as well, and trying to grow my books as we go. So part of my work that I do is that I like to take stories that I've heard and give them a little twist, or completely talk from inspiration of weird conversations or things that have happened to me. So basically how my process works is something like this. Flip you over. There's a reindeer. We'll talk about him in a minute. So this is my inspiration wall. And as you can see, there's loads of post-it notes there. So these are ideas that I've got for future projects, or just things to inspire me as we go along. But also it's a way of me processing stories and how they're going to work and how we get them together to work. So as you can see with this one, the idea behind this post-it note is that there is a backbone to the story, and then there's little scenes going off it. So you go down the middle there, that's the main bulk of the story, and then I go off on slight different tangents there. And then this one, which is a new one, probably the biggest thing I'm ever going to write, I think. There's 5 different strands to this story. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And they all result in this last little poster behind the cut. So don't want to give too much away. So all the writing happens here. This is where the ideas usually happen, in my little office space. And then once the project's finished, it jumps up onto this wall. So this is like the finished product wall, this one here. So some of my older projects there that I've done. So there's Grandad's Teeth up there, Maya's story, if anyone's looking for online safety for girls, that one there. DSM Foundation books there. That's another Grandad's Teeth. This is a online safety project comic book. I'll try and find the link for it. That's a letter from Judy Dench saying she likes my story, and that was the one that started all my Breck book. Breck on the Online Troll in all his glory. That was the first image we ever created, me and Eve Yarnton together. So yeah, I'm just going to clip you back on now so I can talk a bit better. There we go. Don't fall down now. There we go. So that's my process. Ideas go on the wall, work happens in the middle, and then you end up on the wall behind me. So yeah, at the moment I've got a few things in the backlog of Harrington projects that I'm working on. So the first one is, I'm going to describe him because you've seen him, this guy here. It's not a guy, it's a girl. So this is Brent the reindeer, and started a Christmas story called Brent Santa's Missing Reindeer, about this guy, about this girl, who, as you can see, is a toy reindeer, but there's so much more to her. And I'm working with a very talented Eve Yarnton again, who, if you've seen any of my stories before, I've worked with her on quite a few of my projects, and she's just a superbly talented artist. We've got a really good relationship of understanding how each other's work can be presented, and great at just taking on what I vision in my head and then putting it out there. So stay there, Brent. So this is like the first mock-up designs of Brent the reindeer. So this is Brent in her new version as a toy, and then this is her as a reindeer. There's a few changes to this image when you see it, but you might have seen a few of these popping up at the moment. So yeah, me and Eve are working on that at the moment, and that should, fingers crossed, be out this Christmas for you to have a look at. And that's very exciting because that's basically a story that I made up about my dad and his obsession with Christmas, because he's got a 6-foot reindeer and they seem to be breeding at Christmas on his roof. So it's a slight nod to my dad and his obsession with Christmas. So that's Brent the reindeer, coming very soon. Something you might have seen me working, another project, is Big Man, Little Man. Now, I've been working on Big Man, Little Man for about 2 years. That's okay. These things take a lot of time. As you can see, this version here is huge. It's a massive, massive, massive piece of work. This play is too long in this version here, but I am on version 4 at the moment of rewriting this play. And this play is basically about a SND student who wants to better himself, but always ends up in trouble. And with the help of his teacher, is trying to find a way to better himself, make things right for himself. Obviously very close to my heart, being a teacher of SND and the trouble that some of my students can find themselves in. So yeah, it's a really inspiring story. It's quite shocking, I think, at times, because I don't think people understand what teenage boys and SND students go through on top of everything else in their life. And so I'm trying to open up the eyes of the world a little bit to what's going on there. So that's going to take a little bit of work. I know it is. I spent most of the last 6 months trying to get the format right, trying to get this beast of a play down from 4.5 hours, I think it was originally. Sorry to anyone who was involved in that reading. 4.5 hours down to like a normal play rather than a Harry Potter mega piece, because I'm not that type of writer yet. I can't J.K. Rowling a play for 4 hours. So yeah, at the moment, it's the format of the play is done. The format I'm really happy with how it works. I've got to do some work on how these characters interact, speech, but it is with some editors, and I really appreciate them taking the time out to read my play and give me advice on how to make it better, because it is a good story. It just needs me to get the voices a bit better, and I don't know if that's part of my fear of it being slightly about me and about my job, but I think I need to just let go a bit and just go, this is how the voices are, this is how I work, blah blah blah. But Big Man, Little Man, still working on, and we keep going, and that's okay. These things take time to do, and if we didn't take time on these projects to make sure they're right, they wouldn't be worth reading. So Big Man, Little Man, you'll keep seeing stuff about, and it's just a process. I am hoping to do a reading in October half term, if anyone's interested in helping with a reading of that. It's down to 6 people now, and it's just a way of me getting to hear different voices saying it and almost seeing if it works as a play, which is exciting but also scary when you're hearing those words back and you're just like, it's not working for me, but that's part of the process. So Big Man, Little Man, fingers crossed really soon. The latest thing I started working on in the last couple of weeks is a horror story, which you guys on here asked me to write. I got a vote out a couple of weeks ago about what you wanted to see from me, and the vote came back is that you want to see a horror story. And if you saw at the beginning, there was the big post-it note wall, and that's basically the story in its basic form. So yeah, my horror story is called The Old Station, which, there it is, that is The Old Station, based on a paranormal night I had at that station. Just some weird things happened whilst I was there, and just processing how and what happened with that experience and channeling it into a book. But also I've done a little bit of research around the area that I live in and stations and histories around them, and what I've decided to do is amalgamate lots of those stories into one big ghost story, because there's lots of spooky things that happen around Sussex with trains. So I've just merged them all together into a hopefully fantastically spooky story for you all, which I'm starting right now. I've written strand 1, 4 strands to go. I have no idea when that will be ready for you, but I've started it, and that's the main thing. The starting point is the hardest bit, getting out of the station, quite literally. So I've started doing, it's my wife out there, started doing those write-ups now, and we'll carry on with that, along with Big Man, Little Man, because I can't be doing one at the same time, because that Big Man's quite emotional for me, whereas the train station's quite a lot of fun because it'll be dark and creepy and just use the information I have to make something mad, basically. So yeah, those are 3 projects I'm working on. The other thing that I've got going on at the moment is I have a children's story going around some of the agents at the moment. I've got a couple going round. So hopefully you'll see a couple more children's story from me. I've got one about a cat who wants to go home. A bit of a sad one, trying to get students and children to think about grief in a different way and think about their home life and appreciating what they've got. And I've also got a fun story called Take It to the Walrus, which is floating around at the moment, about a walrus whose birthday gets forgotten. So everyone needs to take their presents to the walrus. So yeah, I love writing. It's hard, but I enjoy the creativity of it all. But that's where I am at the moment. Lots of stuff in the pipeline, and hopefully some new things will pop up as I go along, because I get asked by lots of different people and different companies to write stuff for them. And this is only the beginning. I'm a teacher, writer, father, so getting the chance to try and do these experiences, try these projects and experiences is amazing. So yeah, you'll see more from me, and I hope you all have a good day. Thanks for watching.